Hello, Reese from the Point Music Podcast thingy. Have an incredible artist that I managed to have a chat to in this podcast. Her name is NEAV. She's just releasing her debut EP, Elegy. And if you're a fan of Vera Blue and Greta Ray, and even to the point St. Vincent, you're going to love this stuff. She was awesome to talk to. I really do hope you enjoy this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, people of all sorts, this is NEAV. Well, good, because we're recording right now. NEAV, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I would like to welcome you to the annual meeting of the difficult to spell and hard to pronounce names. Let the meeting commence.
Yes. I feel like yours isn't as hard as mine. Like you haven't.
Yeah, I've got no vowels though.
True. True.
But yeah, yours
but
doesn't.
I don't know. I fully had to change my name for my stage name.
I saw that. I kind of figured that was the case.
That's the measures I had to go to.
Yeah. Basically, you're doing that for the Americans because they're phonetic.
Yeah. Well, Australians too. Like I feel like no one, even Scottish people sometimes, like, I don't know, even though my name is technically Irish.
Yeah.
I'm from the UK, like in Scotland, and even people there, like some of them are like, oh, I've never even heard of that. So it's like, I don't know. My parents just had to make it difficult for me.
It's the same as like Siobhan and that sort of stuff too. Like it's hard and like yeah. Anyway, enough about silly names and stuff. Now we are recording this in advance of the release of your debut EP, Elegy, which I've been absorbing that over the last few nights at the gym, and it's an amazing EP.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it.
I tend to listen to a lot of different stuff. Like my background is in like metal stuff, but I played in a reggae band and I play in indie and that sort of stuff too. But this this was deep. So I really one thing I want to point out is that your songwriting and the whole sound that you're putting across here in this EP, I had to double check that you were 18 years old, because there is a whole heap of life experience in these tracks that should not equate to an 18-year-old. I'm just going to point that out there.
So, well, thank you. I get told I don't look my age or like act my age. Bit of an old soul sometimes, but thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's something that yeah, that's a huge compliment.
So
that's really awesome.
Where does it come from then?
Well, I would say, I definitely haven't been through like terrible hardships, and I think I've had people in my life that have gone through horrible things, but I think so I can't really say I have been through horrible things, but I will say that I've experienced or seen people's struggles. I went through a huge breakup. I was with a partner for 3 years, and that's pretty long for like a teenager.
No, that is, yeah.
Yeah, so I think like I don't know. I definitely had to dig deep this year and kind of move on to a new chapter, and I think that my songwriting kind of reflected that. So yeah, it just kind of naturally unfolded and when I was writing, and I just really appreciate that you think that my work is kind of older than I seem, I guess. But yeah, it doesn't really come from a horrible place. But I think it's just a lot of self-reflection and going through a bit of drama.
Still, that's a hell of a lot of self-reflection there. I mean, you listen to songs like Built the Same, and I actually, one of my favorites on the EP is a song you've previously released, Silent Song. There's a lot going on in there that I'm just going, wow. What's happened to her? I mean, Built the Same is yeah, I don't know how to put that into words. Normally I'm pretty good at that, but I've listened to that one quite a bit. I think the one I listened to the most, because there's only 2 songs on here on this EP that you haven't released yet. Is that correct?
So, yeah, that's correct.
So To Love, which has got the interlude as well, and Tragic Drama. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
And
Yeah.
tragic drama, yeah, I was getting deep into that. But I think the one that grabbed me was Silent Song because of how you've got your acoustic, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Because it was actually the first song I listened to.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, cool, this is a nice pace. And all of a sudden, you flipped it on its head with those like deep beats that just come out of nowhere and that heavy production. And I went, oh,
Yeah.
there's some Vera Blue stuff happening here.
Yeah, wow, thank you. That's a big compliment. I think with that one, that was actually, funnily enough, the first song that I wrote from the EP. It was kind of, I was experimenting a lot with my sound
Mm,
and what I wanted to create sonically. I've been songwriting for a long time. But Silent Song was actually written at the start of, I think it was 2020, so it was like 2 years ago.
mm,
Um, so I wrote that quite a long time ago, now, but it really was the catalyst for the EP. It comes from a place where I just kind of felt a bit in my teenage kind of angst. I was like, feeling a bit like no one was listening, or that as a young person, or as kind of sometimes everyone kind of feels like this, where we're told to stay silent, or
yep.
we feel like we can't speak up about certain things. And so that's kind of where it came from. And yeah, as I said, I was experimenting, sorry, with sound and production. And that was kind of where I found where I wanted to go with how my songs were going to sound sonically and how they were going to be released, kind of dark pop, alternate kind of style. And I really loved that kind of the interesting kind of aspects of it, I would say.
Mm.
I wanted to create like elements of surprise. So I like that you liked how it kind of is different in its different sections. That was exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's still within the confines of alternative pop to me. But I always like those sort of, because I listen to a lot of progressive stuff too. So I like stuff that sort of just flips on its head. And you go, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And that was, because if I could predict how a song goes, I kind of get bored. And I hear a lot of that. So experimenting in songwriting, I always appreciate. Which leads me
Hmm.
to the next question. Because you worked with a lot of producers on this EP, different ones, correct?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I did.
if I just randomly pick a song, will you be able to tell me which producer did what?
I think so,
Yeah.
hopefully.
All right.
I would hope so.
Talking to the Devil.
Talking to the Devil.
Mm.
So that one was the producer that I worked with. He's called, I don't want to say Jesse. I think it's Jess. He prefers to be called
Yep.
Jess Diskovic. I don't know. I feel like I'm not pronouncing his name right, and I feel bad because I feel that pain. So I'm sorry, sorry, Jess. I just call him Jess. I got to work in Studios 301, which was really
Nice.
cool.
Yep.
And yeah, and we just I loved working with him. It was a song that I'd already written, just brought into the studio ready to record. And I think the way he produced my vocals was probably one of my favorites from like the EP. I think like the way he found a presence in the production with my vocal was really, really cool. That was probably one of my favorite parts about it. But yeah, it was a really cool experience, and it got mastered by Talia Rose,
Oh.
who I never even got to meet, but yeah, it got sent off to her. She's part of Studios 301 as
Mm-hmm.
well. So shout out to them. They did an awesome job. I'm really proud of that song.
To Love.
To Love.
Mm-hmm.
That was with Tristan Barton.
Okay.
I've worked with him on a few of the songs from the EP, three of them actually. He's been involved with,
All right.
but To Love was one that I wrote. It was the first kind of song I wrote post this breakup that I had, like a pretty big one. Um, and I actually found voice memos from when I first wrote it, and it literally was like a moment where I picked up my guitar, knew
Mm.
I had to write something,
Pour
and
it
it
out.
just happened.
It's one
And
of those music vomits.
I didn't even, yeah, and I didn't
Mm.
have to think about it. And yeah, it's crazy when that happens. But yeah, it was the first breakup song of many that I wrote, and it ended up being my favorite one.
Mm.
And I took that to Tristan. He lives in Cairns, so we were working online, And yeah, I had a basic kind of home recording with my guitar, and he kind of flipped it on its head, and I really liked that about it. I know that my mom is very much like with that song, it's one of her favorites. So when I showed her the produced one, she was a bit like, oh, I don't know, because I kind of like the acoustic style, but I think we added like elements of the acoustic guitar at
Mm.
the end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some strings he added as well. And I think once that was in it, she was like, "Oh, okay, like it's kind of paying homage to like, the original the song that was like as I wrote it, which was really important to me and my mom apparently. But yeah, no, it's I'm pretty proud of that song as well, as I am for all of them, obviously,
Mm.
because I wouldn't be releasing it
Because that
if I
one,
wasn't. But yeah.
that one sneaks in a bit of flume, sort of like squelchy kind of production and soundscapes into it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I was just getting into it, and all of a sudden it just went, and those squelchy things that you associate with flume just snuck in there. Went, oh, that was clever. Um,
Mm,
I just had a thought when you're talking
thank
about
you.
the original version of the song. Have you got that original version recorded somewhere?
I do. And I think eventually I do want to release an acoustic version.
NFT, mate, NFT. To an NFT.
Yes. I don't understand that. I don't understand
Well,
it. Like so many people have tried to like teach me that, and I just
all right.
goes
So
right over my
the
head.
previous podcast I did, which was 2 weeks ago, was with a bandmate of mine who he's in a band called High Tropics, and he's right into all NFTs, and he's high ranking in the charts for NFTs right now. He's just a hustle, but
Hmm.
he explained things to me as well. And so did I had an interview with Cav Templey from Eskimo Joe,
Oh wow.
and
Hmm.
he's actually done a series on NFTs for his album. And the
Hmm.
more that they'll explain it to me, the more it's made sense that instead of just sitting on all this other songs that you could just release as B-sides or an alternative mix, you're
Mm.
creating a collectible. And instead of just
Mm.
hoping it's just going to curate a few streams and that you're going to get paid like a couple bucks for on Spotify, let's face it. I mean, sorry, Spotify, but that's basically what it is. Um,
Preach.
if you make it a limited edition thing, you could actually it could fund something in the future for you, and it also becomes a kick-on effect. So once they trade the royalty, you get 10% from that. Yeah, it's a deep dive that you
Mm.
need to do, but I'm starting to actually get it. And I
Hmm.
mean, I have alternative mixes of all the stuff that I've done too, and I'm just going, you know what? I think I might do that instead of just chucking up onto SoundCloud as an alternative mix, because it's
Hmm.
just going to rot in internet heaven doing that. So why not
Hmm.
get involved with that? Yeah. So just food for thought.
It's very interesting. I cannot say I understand what you're talking about, to be quite
It's
honest.
gobbledygook. Yay!
Um, I understand like the basis of it, but
Mm.
like I don't know. I'll have to go into it and see for this one. But
Because
yeah.
I also want to bring up that you actually signed to an indie label,
Yes.
which is was
I
it
did. I
double
did.
double drummer? So is that yep?
Yes. hmm
How'd that come
hmm
about?
Well, it was through my publishers. So I'm signed to
Is it Origin?
Origin Music Publishing.
Mm.
Yes. And yeah, so I'm signed to them, and everyone knows everyone. And the um the amazing Philip Mortlock, who is I see as my mentor, and he's part of Origin Music. He was like, "Oh, there's this guy called Ed, and he's part of a label, but he writes his own music as well. So maybe you should like, you know, collaborate. That would be cool." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And I ended up having lunch with Ed and his dad Tim, and yeah, it kind of went from there. They kind of found an interest in my music,
Mm.
and they've got a kind of small catalog, so they they've spoken to me about it, and they don't really plan on making it a large catalog of artists. They just kind of like having it as a little close-knit family sort of situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really, really great. From there, we kind of just work together on stuff, and they're just really, really lovely people. And it doesn't feel like, when you talk about record labels and things like that, because it is an indie thing,
Yeah.
it is very personable. And my experience has been really, really good. Just having a team behind me, supporting me, and yeah, being able to get help rather than having to do everything by myself, you know?
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, this industry, I mean, you're, without sounding like the old man in the room, but you're only relatively fresh into this industry, whereas like I'm 3 decades deep. So I'm the jaded and jilted one, whereas you're the like, yay, everything's fresh, let's do it. But it's nice to see that there are indie labels out there looking out for their artists, basically, and I do see it. I mean, the big labels do too. I'm not writing off the big labels, but it's a very shark infested kind of industry. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, you've got age. You got age on your side there. I mean, this Australian industry does not look kindly on 40-plus-year-olds. I can tell you that now.
Yeah, I know. I think like it's been really good, like, you know, even just being mentored by them as well. Like they've taught me so much. And yeah, just being able to like get connections from them as well, and like, yeah, it's been really good.
Because Greta Stanley's on the same label, is that right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
So like even I got to support her,
I saw that.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
And that was through like, yeah, that was through the label. And yeah, she's, oh my God, she's lovely, and she's so talented as well. I was so honored to be able to support her. And also another band from the label, Cousin Tony's Brand New Firebird. I got to yeah, I love them. They're so good. They're so lovely and incredible. Their show was insane. I got to support them at a place in Sydney, the Vanguard, and it was like literally I've never been there, but it was like so cool. It was like packed out. They'd sold out. Such a cool thing to do. And yeah, and usually as the support act, like I'll find that people don't really turn up for the very start, or like, you know,
Sometimes,
but like sometimes, but that time like everyone was there. It was already packed out.
Nice. It's got to be a good feeling when you're doing that.
It was really good. It was a really good energy.
Yeah. And you've also supported Moving Stills too.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Technically.
I did well, yeah. I did a festival
okay.
at just like where I'm from,
Central
like
Coast.
Central Coast. Yeah, so it was like a festival. And I think they were on pretty much after us. So yeah, kind of. I basically supported them.
That counts. It's the same as like me saying that I've played with Ocean Alley. Well, technically they supported one of my bands first a long time ago, and then they played after another band on me that I played at a festival. So technically I supported Ocean Alley. Yeah, whatever. We would take
That's pretty cool.
We would take those technical marks, you know.
That's very cool.
Grab what we can get. All right. I'm going to say 2 words to you, and I want you to just do whatever you want with it. Saint Vincent.
Okay. I love her. I love her so much. She is, oh my God. Love her. She's so cool. Oh, I could literally talk for days on her.
Well, we've got like basically another 12 minutes, so I'll let you go as far as I can with it. What about St. Vincent means the most to you, okay?
Well, I would say I got into her stuff from my dad's influence. He is a huge Talking Heads and David Byrne fan.
Yep.
And when she was collaborating with him, I didn't even get to see her in concert with him, but he went to see her, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, ever since then, I've been obsessed with like her stuff. And I think she's so, I don't know, I think the way she songwrites and the way that she produces her own stuff as well, is really revolutionary. You know, it's very different. And I love how she just kind of owns it and just has her own quirky, crazy side, and I just love that. And I love how it's like a character that she's created. Yeah, I just love everything about her. She's so cool.
Yeah,
so
watching her evolution is pretty good. And when she designed that guitar, that was basically going, hey, look, chicks can't play these kind of guitars because we have boobs, all right? We need to do it this way. And I went, that's forward thinking. I mean, I don't know why it hadn't been done sooner, you know?
I wanted to get that guitar. I still like, I'm like, is it still available? Because I wanted to get that
Pretty
ever since
sure.
I've been able to play guitar.
Yep.
I wanted to get one, and I feel like it's still on my little list of things to buy
Make
for
it a goal.
myself
You're heading that way, you'd be
because
able to do it yourself, man. Seriously. Oh man, yeah. I there is another artist that's like I don't know if you've checked her out before. That reminds me of Saint Vincent. That's I think Olympia.
No,
She's an Australian
I
artist.
haven't. I'll have to look her up.
Hang on, I'll hang on. I'll
Mhm.
see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure because I remember doing an article or an interview for her a long time ago, and she is very
Mhm.
in that similar sort of quirky, yeah, Olympia.
Mhm.
Yeah, look her up. I reckon if you like Saint Vincent, she's gonna be the same sort of ballpark. It'd be right up your alley.
Okay,
Very cool stuff.
I'll look her up.
So I also want to bring up that you actually won. Was it 2 awards? Or 2 songs got nominated for international awards? Is that right? Or am I making shit up?
Yes. I don't know which awards you're talking about, but
Yeah, you
yes,
won the contemporary pop category of the National Australian Songwriters Association
yes.
Awards. Okay, so I wasn't making things up. I was just misreading.
No, yeah. It was
It's
yeah, I think it was
silent
Silent
song.
Song and Tragic Drama. So they're both on the EP. Yeah, I literally yeah, this year I won for Tragic Drama, which was really cool. And Silent Song was like the year before, I think.
You're very
So
humble with that. I'd be owning that shit.
but yeah, it was pretty cool. It was very cool. Very cool.
So
hmm
it's all right. Um, on listening to the EP, the mix that I have, and that it actually has an interlude on there, which is that a voice memo or is that a like a voice recording, like left on the phone, or
It was a voice memo. So I was driving and I don't think I'd ever done this before, but
Mhm.
I just was like, it sounds so weird, but I was like, well, I record myself when I'm singing, so why don't I just like, I was feeling a bit like I needed a therapy session.
Yep.
So I like got my phone, obviously not while I was driving, I wasn't on my phone when I was driving. But I just hit record and I just started talking and it's like literally like I don't even know how long the voice recording actually is. But I eventually wrote To Love
Mhm.
and I was looking through to see where the original voice recording was for some reason. And the voice recording before that was this one that I've been driving about talking to myself. And I went through and I was like, oh, is anything like relevant? And there was this like one section that is now the interlude, that is very, very relevant to kind of why I wrote To Love
I kind
and
of figured that as
everything.
soon as you explained beforehand what, then I went, ah, okay, that would explain the interlude thing too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it when I was listening
Mm-hmm.
to it, I just went, oh, that's okay, that's a breakup thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it was very, I wasn't sure if I wanted to release it with it, but I feel like it was something that I've seen a lot of other artists
well,
do,
it's kind
and
of
I thought
cathartic,
it
right?
was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And yeah, it was raw, like it wasn't made up. It was like literally I didn't think anyone would hear it at all, and I still can't really believe that. If I go back, if I told my past self that, oh, there's gonna be this thing and it's gonna be like you like that recording that you did that you didn't think anyone was gonna hear, it's gonna
Yep.
be on your EP. Like I wouldn't believe that. So, oh well,
It's out
you
there
know,
now.
it works.
Yeah,
Mhm.
look, it's relevant to it, and I think it adds a bit more impact into the actual song itself that it leads into. So
Mm.
don't be ashamed of it or anything like that. It works.
Mm.
I mean,
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you think so.
yeah. Well, we've one of the bands I'm in, the debut EP that we had actually had a voice message that was left from a venue owner on one of our machines, and we just thought it was
Mhm.
hilarious. So we got permission from them to put it on there. I said, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
I had it mixed into it, and it's actually one track on on the EP,
Oh
and
my God.
it's had like
I love that.
10,000 streams or something like that. Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. Just a voice memo
That's
with voice
a lot
recording.
of people do it. Like that's why I thought it was quite funny. If I, did something like that, and it was like it was already there. Like it was kind of, it's like why not? You know?
Yeah. So now that this EP is, it's out. By the time this goes to air and whatever, it'll be out. What now?
Well, by the time this is out, I don't know when this is coming out.
On Friday.
On Friday.
On release day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, next week, I'm doing a launch at the Australian Institute of Music.
Ooh.
So that's kind of fun. It's kind of like a stripped back thing. And I'm just like playing a couple songs from the EP as they were written, sort of thing.
So that means that
Q&A.
Does that mean that your mum will get to see To Love in the original format?
Yeah.
Yay!
She's very excited about that.
I bet.
And I'll be like posting content and stuff from that and everything for people that can't make it and stuff. But yeah, it's just a little thing. And then hopefully, because it's so close to Christmas, it's very hard to like get my band all together and also book a venue and everything like that. So we're hoping to have a proper launch, whole live show early next year, hopefully.
Yeah,
just to play the whole thing, you know. And yeah, but yeah, other than that, I've obviously got some songs in the making that will be coming obviously after the EP. But as for now, I'm kind of just really excited to get this out, and it will be out when you're hearing this.
So if you're going to take a cue from your hero, are you going to do more your own production instead of like teaming up with other producers? Is that something you want to do?
Well, I think so, because I'm actually doing a music production course at the moment. At the Grove Studios.
Oh, that's really cool. Gary Beers' studio, is that right? In Excess?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, I've heard that name, but he doesn't. Yes. He built one of the studios in the Grove. So yeah, it's a really, really cool place, and I've been learning production and all things.
That's one hell of a place to be learning production, is that lower studio.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been awesome. So yeah, I'm just kind of learning that. I'm even doing an advanced course next year as well. So it's been really good because I do record a lot of my own stuff at home.
Well, I can see that the K-Rocks there on your desk. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good for me. But I've recorded a lot of stuff from the EP. Some of the vocals and things like that were recorded here, so because a lot of it was online and whatever. So yeah, I hope to do that more.
So would you like to work and collaborate with younger artists or other artists upcoming and help take on more the production role now that you're sort of trying to figure that out and put your own spin on things?
I think so, definitely. I definitely would love to do that for experience and collaborate with more people. I also would love to be able to just write for other things as well, and produce for other things, just kind of putting, my creative kind of different things that I have learned how to do, put them into action and kind of make, I don't know, just what's the saying? It's like don't put all your eggs in one basket or something, and just like, I don't know. That's probably not even the right saying, but you know what I mean. Like, just kind of do lots of different things. So
why not? I mean, let's do it, make it happen. All right, I'll wrap things up now. If you want to hang on the line, and I'll have a quick debrief with you. Elegy, by the time this goes to air, will be out. Congrats. It's an amazing EP, and I loved having to do a deep dive through it. So I'll put all the links up. Blah blah blah, as I normally do. And NEAV, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You're an incredible artist, and I'm looking forward to what you can come up with in the future.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's all right. Hang on there, the line there. Everyone else, see ya. I really hope you enjoyed that. Do check out Elegy. It's an awesome EP, like I've explained. I actually really dug Silent Song and Tragic Drama, and just go listen to the EP. It's good, and well done to NEAV. Great debut. Thanks for tuning in. Really hope you enjoyed it. More coming. It's getting towards the end of the year, so I might be a little bit more sporadic with my podcasts, but I'll make things happen. Thank you for supporting local music, live music, Australian music, all sorts of music. You guys are legends. Cheers.